Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin and Cardano. In this video we're going to take a look at both charts and prices continue to go down. Just to start, if you hear any strange noise in the background or rain or anything, well, that's the case because I'm in the middle of a storm here basically. In the UK we've got a bit of a storm going on, so if you hear rain hammering on the windows, sorry, can't really do anything about it. It's just nature. So we've got here the Bitcoin price currently at 40.4k. Cardano at $1.02. Hasn't moved much, but we were already a little bit lower today. So everything so far going in line with expectations, in line with my primary expectation that we're going to move lower from here. Yeah, getting there in a minute. But yeah, well, start with Bitcoin. Let's start with Bitcoin and let's just re-emphasize where I think we're gonna go. If I go to the 8-hour chart, we probably see it best. My view that we are coming down into this target area down there, because we are currently from the high or the top here back in back in April. Yeah, just adjust that. Back in April we made an A, B, C correction. We're currently in that wave C, at least that is my view. And in the wave C we haven't seen the low yet. I'm quite certain we haven't seen the low yet. Still some people out there who think we have, and by all means maybe I'm wrong, but looking at how historically Bitcoin has done a low, that is not a significant low that we have done there. Okay, it is just looking like a swing low, nothing major where you would expect a wave 2, in which we, in my view, would end. Okay, now obviously when we came down to 33k, we expected here a counter move to the upside. That is all still within that scenario, yeah, because the price did not break above 46.5k. Did tell you if the price breaks above 46.5k, I will activate my secondary scenario where we could actually go all the way up to 65k before we then come down in my target area. And my target area where both scenarios will land would target at least a correction of 28.7k, basically the low of the correction here in June, but rather lower. I'm looking at an ideal level, which is the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level of around 27k. Here we would finish the correction. Not saying it is 27k, that would be the ideal case, but somewhere in here I would expect it to land, but we need to see how the price is going to go into this area. If it's hammering in there, it could even go lower, but let's hope it will just stay in this area here. I still expect this, and primarily, and even when we moved all the way up here from 33 to 46, I remained primarily that, you know, with this view that we are going to come down once more. And it looks a bit like that we are currently rolling over here again with a Bitcoin chart. And as you can see here, what the price is doing now, all of this, what this could have been, this move up here from 33 to 46k, in my view, was a wave 4 before you now see the final wave 5 move down. As per the Elliott Wave method, a impulsive move, in this case the downtrend, the wave C, consists of 5 waves. In my view, we have possibly completed already now the wave 4 and are already starting here in the wave 5. Yeah, so that is what I primarily expect, and it seems to be turning out for now, making here lower lows. And even today, I mean, if I look here, this is the 8-hour chart. Yeah, we haven't made a lower low compared to yesterday, but we have come down again to that level. What I said earlier today was that we are going to see a bit of a move today, and we saw that because we had here something going on like a bear flag. So this triangle here, trend continuation pattern, broke to the downside. I told you this morning that we were getting here in an apex. You can expect a move shortly, and it did actually go down all the way to nearly 40k, and 40k here is the key support level. If you break that, I think we are very fast at 39k. If then 39, which is here the support level of that yellow target area, if that breaks, I think then we're going to go down to 33, and from there I think, you know, we can be very certain here from when the 39 breaks. For me, I think that wave 4 is then over and we are going into the wave 5. Yeah, that would be the confirmation. Now I had a comment or a question under the last Bitcoin video I did, where someone said that historically Bitcoin on the log chart, if you use the log chart, you can see that Bitcoin always came down to a trend line, and that a below 30k Bitcoin is completely unrealistic, because if you apply the trend line, the low should have already, you look at the trend line here basically, but actually it's not the right way to do it like that, that then the low would be around 30k, not lower. Yeah. I just want to basically say, no, I have a different view, because first of all, I don't like the log chart, because the log chart for the Elliott Wave method is not ideal. It gives you a completely false picture of the relationship between different waves, and it can give you a false wave count. Okay, so just why I don't usually like to use the log chart. But if you apply here this trend line, I mean, it's not at all the case that the low would then be at 30k, because if you try to really catch most touch points here, you would see, I mean, it all is a bit subjective how you do it, but if you try to get most touch points, yeah, you have to probably do it like that. And or even now, if you do this, you're just cutting through here. So if you do it like that, catch most touch points, then the low would also be here around 27k, yeah, 26k. So absolutely not the case that the low or the next drop to that trend line would be around 30k. I don't agree. If you move it higher, you're cutting here through all of the previous price action, which is not how you should apply a trend line. And bear in mind, even if you did that and you say, all right, I move it like that, and the low would be around 30k, maybe even a bit higher, what you then have still, what about this significant dip here in March 2020? That dropped significantly below the trend line. So, I mean, I'm not saying that if we drop below 28.7k, we have to be in there for weeks. This could just be a fast wick that could go down very fast to 27k for a day, and then you're going up, right? So yeah, the argument with the log chart I'm not really in agreement with. So yeah, I stick with my primary scenario. There's a reason why I don't use the log chart, an absolute valid reason, I think, because it doesn't work for Elliott Waves in my view. Yeah, not how I use them. And what I would argue rather is that actually the 200-week moving average is a much more reliable indicator, and the 200-week moving average is currently sitting at 20k, basically the lower support of my target area. Yeah, this is for me a much more valid indicator, because we have really found support here back in February 2019 at the low of that bull run, at the low of that bear market, and also here the most recent drop, March 2020, even broke slightly below that, but not long. And so another drop to the 200-week moving average, in my view, would not be unrealistic. So if you move down there, I mean, we're getting down to 20k. Yeah, so just to mention that, okay? Also, there's this indicator, the 200-week moving average heat map, that you can find on lookintobitcoin.com, where you can also see that the 200-week moving average is quite relevant. Yeah, historically, Bitcoin tends to bottom out at the 200-week moving average, and that is not without reason why my 20k target area is actually the low of the target area, basically. Yeah, that is the low. So looking at ADA, not much to mention about ADA, to be honest, because ADA hasn't really moved since this morning. Still here, on this horizontal support line, and really, I don't think we're going to hold this. I mean, if Bitcoin drops any further, I think we're not going to hold here the $1.02, especially as you're currently forming here. I mean, it's a small one. Small left shoulder, yeah, a head and a small right shoulder, and it's just a head and shoulders pattern, right? And you could really lose that and drop down, especially as here the most recent lows, yeah, were below the previous low. So the chart doesn't really look very strong. No, it doesn't. And I think if Bitcoin drops lower, and I think Bitcoin is preparing for another drop, yeah. Especially, I did forget to mention that on the 1 hour chart here, Bitcoin, I mean, it did retest the previous support as resistance, okay? And now we're heading lower. And what is coming up here as a green candle? One green candle, now you already see a red one again. Yeah, not looking too good, to be honest, for Bitcoin at the moment. So I would expect that shortly, maybe already on the weekend, we see lower prices. We still see the bearish MACD crossover on the daily chart, yeah. Then again, hopefully you don't hear too much the rain in the background. It is really windy here and rainy. But yeah, I would expect here this head and shoulders could really play out. If the $1.02 level gets lost, then you're moving down here. Certainly, in the next step, to 92 cents. That would be here my view for Cardano. And only when the correction is finished, then we can move up again. But the correction, if it's finished, it will be fast, that move up, okay? All right, that's my view here on Bitcoin and Cardano. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And as always, if you really like the content and want additional content, more frequent updates, maybe consider to join the channel membership. Doesn't cost much, and you can get a lot of additional content, get a lot of positive feedback from the community. You can then join Telegram, Discord, and also a weekly live stream, with the next one happening on Sunday. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.